Kaden Fletcher, drummer for Breathe Your Last, here with us on the Metal Wanderlust. How are you, mate?
Yep, I'm really good. Just had a bit of a practice before. It always usually picks my mood up.
Now, I've kind of slipped into this weird character, and it's kind of going to freak you out because I got to have full disclosure here to our listeners and our readers. We actually grew up in the same town and you knew each other many years ago. So Kaden and I were just catching up for the first time, hearing each other's voices in probably fucking 30 years or something crazy like that. And now I've just slipped into a weird character doing an interview. But a long time back, man.
Yeah, I must admit, I have some good memories. It was back in the 90s where I first started listening to this heavy. I discovered the death metal, and it wasn't too long before we met up. And I just remember out the backyard of your place listening to a bit of 6 Feet Under, Haunted, the first album, and fucking. Also, I love that album. And then you sort of, you go, well, what's your favourite band? And I said, Pungent Stench. And you were like on the guitar, and you were like, yep, listen to this. And then Viva La Mort, you're playing that. And I was like, cool, man.
the glory days, the golden years, the halcyon days.
Awesome, pretty good days, man. We used to go to what they called it, Club Original then.
Yeah, see, all kinds of stuff there. It was Pungent went through there, Cannibal Corpse went through there, Carcass went through there. It's a lot of cool stuff went through that little venue, man. It's like fucking basically a corridor. A corridor with a bar on the side and a stage at the front.
Yeah, it was a sick venue. I remember, the first time I got to see a concert there was Allegiance.
Local Perth metal legends.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were, and then it started figuring out the stage dives, and it was people like all age gigs, and everyone was going nuts. So
it's called an education, eh?
Yeah, I learned pretty quick. Bud. And having you guys around, I really had to try to got my death voice going early. I was like, this is my death growl, man.
So we could all be embarrassingly drunk together.
Yeah, I was never embarrassed about doing a death growl. I'd just go to the shop, go down to Whitford City, bud, fucking, and then fucking everyone, what the fuck?
So I'll jump straight to the album. Obviously, the album Apocalypse coming out June, I believe. Do you guys have a specific date?
Yeah, the album will be released 1st of July.
1st of July, it is. Awesome. Fair bit of the reason I bring it up at this point, a fair few backing vocals going on this one as compared to the last one. Is that fair comparison, fair statement?
We tried to do more of the same, just with more purpose, I guess. The first album we started, experimenting with them, and I remember the day we did it because it was just the three of us doing gang shouts, and I was pretty crook. I had the flu or something, so my voice is a bit messed up. So I thought, next album round, I'm going to be a bit more prepared, and, we prepare a bit better and just do it with a bit more purpose. And we got a few more dudes in there that we know, and we're all standing in our rehearsal room with the mic and just going for it, just doing the backing vocals and yelling into the mics, and then came out like gang shouts and sort of, kind of like maybe a bit Hatebreed type or something like that, or Jungle Rot's another band I really love. It's kind of like death, old school death with a bit of hardcore sort of mixed in with the gang shout. So,
less heavy, but no less seminal, and someone like Anthrax, and made me think of them because I have some great memories of seeing the Reformed lineup in particular leaps into my mind when Joey came back in the band and on the vocals for a tour. They I think he stayed for a while, but just that tour is what I remember. And they're a band that their gang shouts in their tunes transcribe or transpose beautifully to a live situation. Where, you get people behind your songs and you get some involvement. Is that something you guys are looking towards?
Oh yeah, that'd be nice, definitely, bud. We're only a 3-piece band, so our efforts so far live. We had a gig just recently. I'd say it's a work in progress, to be honest. I think like when I do gang shouts, I can't. When I'm playing drums at the same time, it's sort of coming out as death shouts. So
I think that's perfectly acceptable given the nature of the band.
yeah, that's it. But I just like give my natural like loudest, evilest, growls and screams behind the drums and whatever I can do, whatever I can fit in while I'm playing. And obviously the bass player Jan, he's pretty disciplined at those punching out those parts and I mean it would help if we had like a few more bit of another army behind us singing it, the crowd participating. That would really help, but they've got to hear the album first.
Absolutely. I think for anyone who's listened to this and hasn't heard Breathe Your Last yet, the first album, Karma Bitch, was one that absolutely I got into big time. The song in particular, Death Needs to Roll, I think it's a perfect example of what you guys do, and just a super cool, super catchy, heavy song. So I think that's a great place for people to start. Get behind that, and then at least at some of your shows, you can they can be getting into the older stuff as well.
Yeah, that's it. But I can't wait to play more off the first album. We sort of we put a lot into the second album, and Harvey spent a lot of time mastering it, producing it, and everything. And so we got that set down, and we just got to go back, and we've got to. For me, I'm ready, but we've got to relearn as a band a couple of those old songs and get back into them. And I can't wait.
Definitely. So, do you think? I think the impact. Obviously, I say this all the time. It's come up in so many of the interviews I've done over the last couple of years. The impact of obviously COVID in stopping live shows. It sort of took some of the steam out of that first album. Do you think, in terms of being able to get it out there and fly the flag live?
Oh yeah, it did. Definitely did. We were sort of launching that album, and we started playing a few shows. And the last show was in Poland, and it felt really good to play a show. Then drive to 4 hours away, 5 hours away, and play in a different country. It was really really awesome. And then that kind of all stopped. And in the meantime, we were writing new songs, so we got straight onto that, and we started writing the new album. And but we didn't play live for so long, and we didn't even see each other for a while. So it kind of halted the first album, and but it's really, the song's really mature. There's always a better way to play it, and it just keeps on rolling, and you get better ideas. It evolves, and I find them quite easy to play than probably the second album. They're a bit easier to play and fun to play. So, like I say, I can't wait to play them live this year sometime.
Yeah, the second album, I think you touched on it there, a bit tougher to play. You can certainly hear that in the complexity and the structure of the songs. I think riff-wise, you guys seem less don't change too quickly, like it's some kind of craziness, but there's a lot more going on in terms of you don't sit on a riff for quite so long. You kind of sit on it, and it kind of diverts and has nicer transitions. Do you think that's something you guys definitely set out to do? Is get some of that sort of transitional work a lot sharper and a lot better than the first album?
It's a good question. It's a bit of a mixed bag. I guess when Jan and I came into the band to join Yavi, we were maybe a bit more thrash metal influenced, and so a lot of sort of faster, thrashier beats came out, and Yavi he's the one that arranges the songs to make them fit really well, so he's producing and arranging. And actually we both had a go at a few, so like songs like Black Heart was written by Jan, and we pretty much followed his lead the whole way through. So that
is a personal favorite from the album. It's killer. It's great because it's quite, and coming back to the way it's arranged and structured, it's quite teasing in that there's that kind of almost like D-beat kind of thing that goes on, and it doesn't hang around for too long. it's easy when bands use that kind of beat, and you as a drummer must know this for sure, especially this type of music. That beat is just a winner every time, particularly in sort of in hardcore and death metal. Going back to bands like Entombed, it's really hard to leave that alone. I think when you're writing a song and you're caught up in it, you keep it sparing in that track. I think it's a great a track that's a great example of the development of the band. But certainly you can hear the influences in there for sure, mate.
Yeah, it just wrote itself really. I just dug it, followed the lead, and I guess in the middle it gets with a bit of double bass in there, and I'm pretty heavily influenced drumming wise probably by Obituary. I just love Donald Tardy's drumming, so I followed a lot of that in pretty much my whole drumming life. And
interesting. That's interesting. Okay, I'll stop you. That's interesting to me because I think probably wrongly so, not a drummer that gets referred to often, given Obituary, they had that real penchant for slower and mid-pace riffs. Certainly something that as a youngster and for a long time has lost me. Like they kind of sat in this middle zone that for me didn't really cook for me. But talk me through what makes Donald Tardy such an influence for you.
Just the way he plays is how I follow. I can follow his drumming like more so than any other drummer. I think he hits really hard and he's real solid. Just knows how to make the drums sound so heavy and thunderous, and like that's really had an effect on me. Just the thunderous drums and the mid tempo and bringing out the heaviness like in the music. And I sort of discovered like early on, I listened to a lot of Florida kind of death metal and like Cannibal Corpse and stuff like that. But then I was playing with blast beats for a while and faster beats, but realized that something I can do, but not really my greatest strength is blasting. I can do a bit of it, but it's never been like those Morbid Angel type sick ones. But just the way he plays, is the way
that's
pull it
off. That's great, man. It's fantastic. Yeah. I think, like I said, there's not enough reference to a guy like that. I think I'm a big fan of myself and a guy I know. We call it the Duran Duran thing. We usually talk about the bass player in terms of serving the song. You look at the bass player from Duran Duran. He's 100% serving the song, every single song. There's no ego. There's no anything. I think Donald Tardy fits into that kind of thing. He's serving that song first. And any flashiness, anything like that is completely secondary. Do you think that's a good explanation for the way you go about it?
Yeah, spot on, Brad, spot on, bud. Because the way he thinks and just putting the fills into the songs where it fits and just making it fit like a puzzle and like making it fit to the riff really well. And that's what I think about all the time. Every song I get, I always think, how can I make it stand out? And what fill could I put in there to make it sound really good and fluent? And I think that's what he just does really well. And
very nice. So Yavi, obviously being the vocalist, and you talk about he does a lot of the arranging. I think probably the most idiosyncratic thing, the easiest thing to identify about your band for me is Yavi. I think his voice has that kind of, we were talking about pungent stench earlier, it reminds me of that, even early Carcass, that kind of, it literally sounds sick. His voice sounds ill. Where does he come from, vocally and musically? Where do you think that idea comes from? Because it's an amazing character. It's immediately identifiable, and that makes you guys pretty strong as a band to have that,
Oh, that's awesome to hear, bud. Yeah, I agree. I think it's definitely unique, his voice, and you can pick it. So that's really important. And when I first met Yavi, I was just sort of in between bands, and I was looking for something more solid. And I just saw his ad. I just saw an ad in one of the the local website in Hamburg, and they had said the drummer wanted for Death and Roll band, and I was like, yeah, that sounds cool.
That sounds like me.
Yeah, and then like the influences I really liked, he had like Entombed was one, so Entombed, like a few Swedish, like I think he had Gorefest, another one,
Nice.
which is a really, I really like. I didn't know them that well at the time in the '90s when I should have, but I really like them now. I really dig them.
That
And
live Eindhoven Insanity CD, I remember listening to that as a kid. That was absolutely brilliant.
yeah,
Confessions of a Serial Killer,
yeah,
live, brilliant
yeah,
live track, brilliant live track. Love that band.
yeah. He's just got an awesome death growl, that dude, and just that everything about it sounds awesome to me. So yeah,
So yeah, so other influences obviously Entombed. He's a big Motorhead fan, is he not? Is he, Harvey?
yeah, he is, definitely is.
Do you think that informs the way he goes about it in this project, or?
Yeah, I think like early on, I guess we had like when we had the first album, Karma Bitch, there was, it was like we called it Motorhead Death.
Nice.
So yeah, I guess definitely he's definitely an influence of Motorhead there, and yeah, the simplicity of it was really good, just straightforward.
It's all about
Yeah,
feel, right? It's all. I don't think you talk about Donald Tardy, you talk about Motorhead. The influences are feel first influences, right? You're creating a moment, creating a feel, rather than, I guess wanting to, create. I mean, it's certainly not uncomplicated music. It's great stuff, but without you're not wanting to go, fully tech in any direction, be it the vocal, be it the bass, being any of the elements. They're all
yeah,
very strong, serve a feeling and serve a song. Yeah.
yeah. That's it. I don't think we think about it like we could. Like Harvey could go technical if he wanted, I guess, but yeah, like we don't sort of think in a technical way too much. It's more like just whatever's cool and catchy comes out, and that kind of thing, just cool hooks and just feel the groove, make it groovy. That's what it's all about.
Certainly in Death and Roll, mate. That's what it's all about. It's where it came from, right? That groove coming into the music. Pungent Stench aren't usually associated with that, but they had absolutely filthy groove back in the day.
Yeah, like,
Entombed, bands like that.
oh yeah, Pungent Stench was definitely like really one of my favorite. Like the album Dirty Rhymes, Psychotronic Beats.
Hmm.
I think old mate from ours, Lee, my neighbour, so across the road. I first started hearing this music when I was like 13, and I was like, "What's this, Lee?" And he's like, "Yeah, this was Pungent Stench, Dirty Rhymes, and Psychotronic Beats." And yeah, after that, I was just at home getting the bar stools out and getting the chairs out and just bashing the vinyl and splitting the vinyl on them all and just playing like Viva La Murdy and stuff like that.
The family must have been so happy.
Oh yeah, like, you would have thought they would have bought me a drum kit for that, but no.
Didn't take the hint. Didn't take the hint right away.
Nah, but I still had to buy that when I was about, my first kit I brought when I was about 16, 17 of my own money. So I was, yeah, it was a power beat, bit of a
It's
piece of
funny
shit.
actually. I've had to move into the very back room of the residence here because young guy next door's learning the drums and he started bashing away and I was like, oh, come on, dude, like try to do an interview here.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon I would have, yeah, definitely. Oh, I know for a fact I've definitely pissed off a lot of neighbours in my time.
I
Pretty hard,
actually
pretty.
love it. Being my love for music, I actually love it. And they moved in not I can't remember how long ago, but hearing him, like it's slavishly I guess it's after school for him or something. Every day he's out in the garage, and you can hear the development, like hearing young kids develop in music like that. It's
Yeah.
something pretty special, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. If they're moving forward and they're they're starting to put it together, then there's definitely it's satisfying. You want to be improving you definitely want to be improving, and if that's happening, then it's definitely worth them going on with it.
So in terms of, you mentioned you guys are from Hamburg before, just to quickly segue away, like so. you know, you yourself come from Perth, Australia. Where do the other two boys come from? Are they from out of town as well? Like, do you all kind of end up in Hamburg, or what's the story about your origins, and the other
Oh
guys'
yeah,
origins
so
especially?
it's quite interesting. We're like a little bit international. So Javi, he's from he's Basque, from Basque country, which is like, you know, Spain. And
Hmm.
so yeah, he used to play in Spain a lot. He played a lot of shows there. Played in the Sociedad Alcoholicas, the band he was in, pretty popular big band in Spain.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think we just got and Jan he's German, so he's from like another part of Germany, and he moved to Hamburg. He played sort of like in hardcore punk bands, and yeah, and then I moved to Hamburg because yeah, we all pretty much have, me and Yavi have German wives. Yeah, we both have missuses from Germany, so we moved there with them. And for me, it was like from going from Cairns to live in Queensland to live in Germany. I said yes because I was like, yeah, there's awesome metal
Oh,
festivals there.
it's like Mecca over there, you know.
It's like metalhead heaven. I'm
Yeah,
going.
exactly. Festivals, you say, or metal bands, you say. I'll be there.
Yeah.
Hey, I love
It's
you. I love you, baby. I love you, baby, too.
yeah. I'll do whatever I can. Yeah, but yeah, like that's what people ask over here. You know, they ask me all quite often, like, "Oh, well, you're from Australia. What are you doing here? It's so nice in Australia. You know, why would you want to live here?" And I said, yeah, you don't quite understand my situation. There's like lots of cool metal here and metal bands, and yeah, I sort of had the ambition, you know, I had the ambition to find a good metal band here and play in one, and maybe play some of the Wacken Festival. You know, it's my dream. You know, it turned out that it's very hard road. You know, there's so many bands all trying to do the same thing, and there's a lot of bands, but yeah, I had a few bands that I tried out, didn't quite go, but this band stuck, and this is the band that I'm in, and you know, I'll stay in this band for as until the stumps. You know, we're moving forward,
For
and
those international listeners who don't know cricketing terms, stumps means stay till the end. Stumps being the end of the day at cricket.
that's it. Sporting analogies, eh?
Yeah, they're fucking everywhere. Nice one. I
Yeah,
love it. I love it. It's funny. It's funny though you say that. I think you know, if you could transplant the current Perth scene and drop it into Europe, whew, the level of musicianships and the bands that we have here at the moment, it's pretty great. It's pretty great, man. Like it's I you know, it's always been there, bubbling away, but it's, you know, really, maybe I'm just a lot more focused over the last few years with the writing I'm doing and that kind of stuff for the Metal Wanderlust. But man, there's some absolutely top notch stuff going on here. So Europe can thank us for you. Um, Tell the boys we said no problem. You're welcome.
yep. We'll just have to release him. The Perth, he learned from the well, you know, like you say, you know, it is true in a way, because in Perth there's a lot of awesome musicians. I really like from the '90s. I don't know if you remember Adam Schulio from he played in a band called Wasted Youth.
Yes, I do remember Wasted Youth, of course.
Yeah, and he was a good mate of mine, and like just loved the way he hit the drums, smacked them really hard. We played a bit of Sepultura covers, and you know, I really picked up a lot off him, and yes, real solid. And yeah, there's a ton of really talented bands in Perth for sure. And I think the mentality is like they're really passionate about the music and writing, and that's what, you know, if you got the time for it, you put the time in and give it the love, then you know, you're gonna create something really awesome. And I think sometimes here it gets overlooked because a lot of people are busy with careers and jobs, and they really put that on a pedestal. Of course, fair enough, you know. But yeah, guys like Yavi and I are a little bit more like, yeah, let's do the music first, and then just see what comes. You know, like you know, as long as we've got enough money and we can do our thing, you know. And that's what we're like. We're on the other side of it, you know.
Counting down to Apocalypse coming out 1st of July. You said. Tell me about getting signed. Tell me about the deal you guys have got.
Yeah, so it's coming out through Blood Blast Distribution. They're an online, I guess, a sub label. They're like affiliated with Nuclear Blast, which is exciting to have got on that. Yeah, I guess we're considered like we're an upcoming new band, not really that well known yet, but this will help us sort of launch. Grow into people listening to it, hearing us more, and a bit more promotion, and not just put on a platform and left to discover by accident. They're going to promote it for us, and Harvey has some connections. He has some good connections and people that he's friends with in Hamburg that do promotions like October Promotion, and they're the guys that are sort of promoting the heavy metal in Europe and all around. So it's really exciting to be signed with them, and just keep pushing, keep playing shows when we can, and just build it up, play good, and
the great thing you guys have got ahead of you at the moment is the doors have opened in terms of shows. So having that live presence, more and more is that, along with that affiliation with such a great distributor, I think you guys will be doing great things.
Yeah, totally, man. It's taken a long time, but it's here now, and just gonna. Yeah, we've got the Metal Bash Festival coming up in 2 weeks, so that's going to be the first metal fest for a long time. Really excited about that, and just to play.
Who else is on the build?
Who else? What other bands?
Yeah.
That's a good. A band called Rise of the Chronos. I think that's how. Yeah, it's a really cool band that stands out for me. Rise of the Chronos. I think I'm saying it right. I'm not sure. But they're worth seeing. They got a female, death metal vocalist. She was her name's Britta. She used to play in a band Cripper, and that's her new band. So they sound really cool, and they're playing a little bit after us on the day. So looking forward to seeing those guys after us. And yeah,
nice.
there's a few.
So as you jump out on that sort of stage, like I have my fresh material. There's nothing like it. What's your favourite on the album? I know they're all your children, but what's your favourite? What can't you wait to get out there and bash?
Oh, yes, that's a good question. That one. Have to think about that. Like, I think, Black Heart is definitely like one of my favourite. Yeah, as a band, I think Frail is. We put that high on the list, so we the tempo is really nice. It's a
cracking track.
Song. Yeah, they're some of the best ones.
A great example of Harvey's vocals in terms of that sickness. Well, right from the get-go on that song is just, I don't know how he makes that sound happen. I've dabbled in the death growls myself in the past, but it's not that simple. It's just got this amazing sound to it. People, you have to get out and hear this album. It's super cool.
Yep, really happy with this one. And it's a lot of fun making it, and playing it live is good. It's quite challenging. I think one of my most challenging songs on them. I actually wrote the song. Theoretically, I wrote it, but I wrote the beats for it. It was called No More Gods. That one's like, usually we play at the end and like, oh man, I just got to hold on till we get through this last section, because it's like everything starts to, that's probably the most challenging song for me to play, but it's getting there real tight, and
it's funny talking to I was talking to Howard Jones. He used to be now my old man brain's going to fail me. Howard Jones, anyway. So I was talking to him in an interview recently, and he was talking about we're talking about, as everyone comes out and plays these shows after being away for a long time, we're talking about the tendency for for drummers to come out and just play way too fast because they're way too fucking excited, and then sort of blow their load mid-set and just be done. Is that a fear for you, Kaden?
Oh, definitely, bud. Like, I've definitely had a tendency in the past to play too fast. Definitely, yeah. Like, I have to yeah, it's good to record yourself like in rehearsal and record like even live and just see what you're playing a bit too quick, like, because you don't realize it. You don't always realize that you are. And yeah, I think being right on that right tempo is really important. And yeah, that's what I
Particularly
try.
with groovy stuff, with the death and roll, if you play some of that stuff fractionally too fast, that groove evaporates.
Yeah, totally it. So you just got to be. What I learned about playing in this band, probably wasn't aware of before, is being behind, just playing a little bit behind. And so, what do you mean, man, behind? Like a bit slower, or yeah, but it's not always that. It's just
dragging that snare late, etc.
Yeah, just always being just a tad behind, but not slowing down. So it's like the whole tempo goes down. So it's like that was the challenge for me to sort of learn to be a bit behind and not rush ahead. And just sometimes you think like when you do a roll, it's good to bring the chunkiness out in the roll. And goes back to again, drummers like Donald Tardy and Greg Gall. They just know how to stay behind and make it chunky, and yeah, that's the challenge.
It's interesting. Interesting when you talk death metal drumming, the talk is always about complexity and speed. But at the end of it, it's really nice to have a conversation that involves these kind of ideas, because I think in the same way as everyone, when a normal listener hears, say, a tapping solo to the ear, it sounds incredibly difficult. But some of those things are actually quite easy to pull off if you're a reasonable guitarist. I'm not one of them. But as opposed to, say, a bend to a certain pitch with perfect vibrato, that's the kind of difference we're talking about here, right? Is it's easy to overlook the difficulty in creating such a perfect kind of feel in this kind of music.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Brad. Yeah, so like it's just being in that pocket. And yeah, it's definitely not about fast. It's just an art form in getting it into that pocket and staying in that pocket. And that's what I learned. That's what I've learned this whole time in this band, to stay behind a bit. And
I imagine your bass player's been a help in learning that, because it's something bass players struggle with as well, is the rushing.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, Yavi, with all his experience, really sort of pointed it out to me in the first album, and when went through the drums and that for it, and like he really sort of instilled that into me, and said like bands like Sabbath did it, Deep Purple do it, all the really good drummers, they all do it, and it's just what makes it groove, I guess, and what I'm trying to do. Because I think speed is I can't play that fast. I'm not really a speed drummer. I like thrash, a bit of thrash metal, but nothing too fast. I think doesn't bring out the best in my playing. So
in your defense, I think the capability is there. I think the artistic preference and probably your body at this stage is going, yeah, I want to go with the artistic stuff as well.
You're dead. You're right there, Brad, because just ticked over 40, and yeah, you start noticing little things. You go, what the? Yeah, but actually, it's true in a sense. But I think, I'm definitely getting faster because of technique. You still try to develop technique, and especially with the pedals and with speed on the double bass, it's still nice to be able to play quite fast, but the main thing is that it's smooth, and that's the most important thing, is playing like tight and playing it smooth, and if you can only do that at 140 or 150, then it's better than trying to do it any faster and being a bit sloppy,
Yeah, having a god awful mess, which there's certainly some of that out and about around the traps. but at the same time, it's beautiful, you know. If people aren't pushing those boundaries and aren't pushing themselves in different directions, be it the way you're pushing your boundaries in terms of creating groove, someone else pushing their boundaries in terms of speed, you know, it's how music evolves and it all gets better.
Yeah, that's it. I guess there's always more into the groovier stuff of groovier side of death metal, you know, like going back, Pungent Stench's albums, some of their groovier stuff, and I just dug that style a lot more. 6 Feet Under, same, you know, early 6 Feet Under, what they did there.
Yeah, certainly. I think that first album, because of recent history, let's just leave it at that. That some of that's kind of being overlooked a bit. But yeah, that first album, you know, like it again, I guess it's sort of that obituary kind of thing, right? And it jammed along at that really mid-pace kind of tempo. And you know, there's some really strong stuff on that album, on Haunted for sure. So
Yeah.
with obviously the album coming out 1st of July, you guys you've been sort of forced to sit on it for a little bit. Is that making you guys feel anxious? Is it getting you better prepared? How are you feeling about the wait until it comes out? What's keeping you guys busy at the moment, and where are you head up to that point?
Yeah. Well, actually, it feels. I don't mind it. It's not bothering me. I just, like I say, I think. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Just training the songs, just playing the songs more and more and more. The better they get, you know, the more you discover that what you can do better, and it's coming along nicely. And yeah, we're starting to play it all live now, and just got to go back and refresh up on some of the older ones off the first album to include it in the set.
Please keep Death Needs to Roll
Oh
in your
yeah,
sets, mate. That song is an absolute belter. I'll speak that to anyone and everyone, and have done for a couple of years now.
Oh, absolutely, but I mean, that song just keeps getting better and better with age. I never forget a song once I've learned it, you know, and I can just pull it out. I mean, it's probably a bit different for guitar players, maybe, I don't know, but once the song's down, you know, if I don't play it for a year or two, I don't forget it, you know. I might be a bit rusty when I get back on it, but like, doesn't take long, you know. I never fully forget it, so we'll be playing that, bud.
Good stuff. I think that's the thing with when it comes to musicians and their instruments. I think if you don't play that instrument, all you see are the letters, right? You see letters and letters and letters, and you're like, what's going on there? But when you play that instrument, you don't remember letters. You remember words, or you remember sentences, or you remember paragraphs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I can see that's probably the way it goes for you with the drum part, right? Like you don't remember the letters. You remember, you know, half a dozen words and 3 paragraphs, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah, I totally always just played by ear and memorized everything, and didn't. Yeah, that's how I always just listening and picking it up, and yeah, like I never forget that way, you know. And I don't really like pay much attention to like written drum music. I think the only thing I do is like I have, you know, Guitar Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I just write drums on Guitar Pro and program it a little bit. At some stage I was doing that, and then I got like a home studio drum set, so that just sits here now, and I can just, you know, easily just plug in and just record a beat that way, and just listening, but that was just feel and going with that, and yeah, just gets solidified.
So I guess to wrap things up, you know, got the gig coming up, got the album coming out. What's kind of what's the message from you guys to the world? You know, what to the metal world?
Yeah, we just want to play in front of as many audiences as, you know, play to as many metalheads as we can, and, you know, entertain them, play good. Hopefully, gets your head banging. You know, we're playing the groovy style. We're trying to, you know, we've ventured into different directions, but like we love death and roll and this kind of style, and we want to keep doing it. And the next album, yeah, I mean, it's in the works, you know. There'll be another one coming, and hopefully we can, you know, I'd love to get back home one day, get to Perth with my boys and play in Perth. That'd be
That would
awesome.
be pretty special. I imagine we could put together a crazy lineup down here.
Yeah, that's I'd love to do that. I have to drag them and I'll have to chain them up and put them on a plane and just get them over and say, no, man, we're not.
I don't know if any people have seen Harvey and what he looks like with his handlebar moustache and stuff, but he looks like some kind of bulldog, man. I reckon you'd have to chain that guy up pretty good. He'd get away and get angry.
Oh yeah, no, I wouldn't want to mess with him too much. No, you're right. He's just a born metalhead. He just looks like full on metalhead musician. Just got the looks that way. And yeah, if he won't do, if he will do something, he'll do it. If he doesn't want to do it, he won't. But I'm sure the boys definitely they'd want to come. And hopefully we do get to Australia.
Oh, that'll be pretty special. In the meantime, you've got essentially religious ground over there to cover in Europe first, mate. Like, there's a lot of hallowed ground you can get the boys to play some shows.
Yeah. That's the other thing we want to he's got Yavi's from Spain. He's got pretty good connections there. Would love to go there, and we probably will go there and do some shows, and that'll be awesome. And just keep playing where we can, like I say, I was in Poland. It was a lot of fun just to play in front of different people, and just go to places where they don't always get metal shows. Wherever we can, we'll go, and that's the main thing. Love playing live. Can't get enough of it,
Brilliant, mate. Kaden from Breathe Your Last, thank you so much for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, absolute pleasure, Brad. It's good to talk to you again after so many years, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a fucking long time. Thanks a bunch, man.